Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Elunic and in this video I'll be making a eco-inspired home. When I first started this build I started off with just an angle of it and the idea of it. I tested it out before I actually made the video, and I think I tried to build it at least 3 times before I decided on a shape that I enjoyed, liked. And I really wanted it to look like this build is a little bit higher up, so it's not too low. That's why I also raised the ground and then added rocks around it, because I wanted to look like this is the main house is higher up and everything else is lower down. And I think that really helped how it looked like in the end, because of the area that I'm building, and try to make it look a little bit similar to the area that I chose. And this is a lot that is 50-50, so it's quite big lot, but it kind of was perfect because I wanted to look like this really was part of the terrain. This was not just part of the terrain but part of the location. Sadly, of course, I can't delete every house that is from The Sims, but I did delete the lot next to it and just added trees there, so it wasn't any other houses or just plain in the background before I started this build. And that just made it so much easier to get the vibe of how I wanted this build to be or to look like, or what it was supposed to look like. I wasn't really sure what to call it, because I got some inspiration by looking, of course, at fancy builds and even real houses. Because if you look up eco-friendly houses, you can see many years ago a lot of people made different houses that were only environment friendly, like electricity or water, or it's so many shapes you can find. And after like Lord of the Rings, these types of houses became really popular, and a lot of people actually ended up having those kind of houses where you live underground. So it was a big project where they create this stuff. I'm not really sure how expensive it was or even how well it went. I haven't looked into that, but I really do enjoy the idea of it, and I really wouldn't mind having that kind of a house myself. I think it would be really, really relaxing, just you and your extremely huge garden in a way. But still, in the other way, I can understand why it's a smart thing, because when you use nature like grass roofs and stuff like that, that's not really news, because that's something they've done in Norway for many years. Maybe not as much now, but that's not. You can still see houses where they have grass on top of the roofs, and I can understand the logic of it. It helps with heating, it helps when the snow comes. I mean, I understand the logic of it, but seeing how now we're more modern, uh, for me personally, maybe not that much, but still, maybe as a holiday house, for sure, absolutely. But when I started off this build, I started off like half of the house, because I want to see what do I think about it. And I was sitting there and I was adding all the debug items, and I absolutely love some of the debug items that we have in this game, like that one big log that's actually a fence log, but it just really gives the house as a column. It gives it that really looking like it has been built from the start, you know. And I wanted the walls to look like it's not a dirt house, but it's like it's been made, it's homemade, if you know what I mean. And those two together really made the build look very good, so I'm quite happy with how it turned out. And the green roofs that we got from Sims lately, It's just love it. There's one thing that I wish, that around the rooftops it would be great if they could add a green swap to that rooftop thingy from Island Living, because I mean we have it in brown and it works. I mean it can look like it's dry grass, but still it would be great if that also maybe could have like a little bit of a green, so it's not all brown. But eh, it's fine. I still like it and I use it a lot actually, so I'm really happy with it. And the thing when I started building of the middle part of the house where they have like the storage, it was absolutely great. When I found the debug items from Eco Lifestyle, the column, not column, what do you call it? The wood thingy that I use on the floor and the roof. It just fits very well to the idea that I was looking for. I didn't really want something that was blocking off. I didn't really want high walls. I just wanted it to look at the same way as part of the build, but also closed off and also connected together. And it really did that. It was. I felt it was really the perfect way of making what I was looking for, and it really made the build look so much better. And of course, I used the doorway from Realm of Magic, and it just fits very well the shape. Because when the image that I was been looking at, I posted them on Twitter. If you want to take a look at it, and it's of course Hobbit house inspired. It has tiny elf inspiring. It's dirt cabin inspired, and I don't know what. But honestly, I'm not really sure what this is itself. I call it eco-inspired home because that's what it is to me. It doesn't really like have a name, so that's why also the title of the on the thumbnail is a hobbit home. Because how you want to do with this house, or how you want to play with this house, if it's like a fairy tale house or if it's like just your eco-friendly house, or I don't know, that's up to you. And that's kind of why I enjoy making these builds, because it's your imagination that makes it what it is. I think when it comes to the part of the eco-friendly, I can't say for sure if this house is eco-friendly, because I didn't really think is this stuff gonna make it more eco-friendly than this stuff. I didn't really look into that stuff. So for all I know, this is a seriously expensive house. But I did add some of the few items that we get from Eco Lifestyle, like the water thingy and the mills on top of it, and the windmills, and the cute stuff that makes it look nice. But how expensive it is, I can't really tell you yet. The lot did of course cost, I think it ended up at least 100,000 millions, and yeah, that's probably more than I would have done lately, but that's totally fine. I think when it comes to these kind of builds, it's supposed to be part of the nature. Well, it's supposed to be looking like it is supposed to belong here, and so of course, I can't help myself. I add the little snail, I add the rabbits, and the tiny mushrooms, the pond. You kind of need to have it all. It's just, well, at least these items, and I just really wanted to look like his home, his tiny farm. It's relaxing, it's cozy, and well, a home. As I was saying, when I started off on this build, I made half of the house, and after seeing how it looked like, I felt it needs a little bit more. It's probably easier when you see that. When I posted an image on Twitter, I said this is what I'm working with now, and a lot of people like that one. And did really enjoy this cabin with only half of the build done first, but really felt like it's missing something, and so I made it a little bit longer, and I added like this little barn on the end, because I felt like if I were to have herbs and plants, stuff like that, where's my tools going to be? I didn't want all the tools to be on the outside, because I don't, and also I didn't really want it to be all inside of the house, the main house. So I decided I'm gonna make this tiny barn and have it inside there, or a shed. I don't know, what can you call it? A tiny house, a tiny build, something like that. But when I added that and I put it together, I really did feel it really made the house or the build look more complete, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. And I tried to make it look like you have gathered some stuff here and there and put it together and created this cozy little build or home for yourself. I wanted a lake. I always usually add a lake when I make these big lots, because it fits. It fits because when you look around it, you see behind it is water as well, and that's part of the Sims, this river or something. And on the front side, you have the ocean. It just kind of fits from the lot where it's at. It fits that it's water on it, and I think that if I didn't add this tiny pond area, it would be difficult to decorate. I was thinking first maybe if I had the ground higher up, rocks around it, and then on the lower side you would have a field, like where it would only, like where you could maybe have your weeds and stuff like that. But I kind of changed my mind because I felt it will be too much grass, seeing how the area is so green. I felt it needed a little bit difference, so that's why I added a pond instead. And I wanted to look like this is an old place, so I added a broken down walkway across, and fishing area and stuff like that. And I haven't tested the fishing, so I can't promise you that you can fish in it. I'm not really sure if she can swim in it because I blocked it off with the rocks. But I think I just add those kind of items mostly for making it look more welcome. And the trees, oh, I love it. I think some of the trees in Sims are difficult because when you see it in the world, it's like they have some trees that we don't, and it's difficult for me to make some trees look good. It's like either it's too much green on the tree, or like the tree itself it's kind of too small or too big, and the leaves on the trees take so much room of the lot that's on the spot that it stands on, that it's difficult to sometimes make it look really good. So I was working a lot with trying to figure out how to place this, and of course greenery fits in here because it's not supposed to be all planned out. And the gray stones that I use on the ground, it was my plan of having it look like it's stone. Of course stone and dirt. It got maybe a little bit too much. I could maybe have used a little bit less, but that's like, you know, the thoughts that you come to your mind after you've done it, after you posted it on the gallery, and then you probably remember I should have done that instead. I think that's so typical for me. Usually when I do builds, I have a plan to it, and but it's always something that you think should I have done that instead. And I don't want to take it down and then change it and then put it up in, because then I wouldn't be doing anything else. So I accept it as it is. Of course, I do know what I could have done differently, at least when it comes to decorating the ground. Maybe more what I could add, but I'm not gonna go and remove it from the gallery because I then suddenly feel to change it. I think I spent about 6 hours in total making this, and that's not, I don't mean that I use 6 hour building. It's like 6 hours where you build, watch, and so on. And I don't really mind that. So a lot of the um, recording is like super silent because I just end up sitting there and watching it and forget to stop recording. And then I scroll in the debug items to just look for stuff, and of course you just need to cut that one out. You can't really post a video where you just scroll and look. So it's yeah, it ended up being a really long record, and I used 2 days on it. um, it's funny because when you look at it, it's not like I have built a lot of stuff on the house. It's not big house I have made, so it's still funny that I managed to use this long on this. But I don't know. I really did enjoy myself though, so I took my time on it, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out. I'm quite happy that I did what I did, that I did actually sit down and just watch and just think what would I like to have different. I think that's probably a big thing of the process when you create something, and when you have an idea how to work with it. Because if not, it usually ends up not always being my favorite, and I really don't I don't enjoy posting stuff that I can't say I love this or I like this. I think it's really uncomfortable to do that, so I try to avoid as much as I can to post anything that I'm not at least 99% happy with. The good thing is at least that you have room for more on this slot. So if you have kids and you want to add stuff for kids, it's room for it. If you want to add more eco-friendly stuff, it's room for it. So at least that's a good thing. I think when it comes to gameplay, as I said earlier, it depends. I mean, it fits kind of into your imagination life and it fits into your eco-friendly life. You can change it up. Uh, it can be your home in many ways. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna say that this is my idea of a dirt house. Because honestly I can't really say yes, this is a hobbit home. That's why I added a question mark. I can't one even said it reminded him of a modern version of Shrek's house, and maybe I can see where he gets that idea from, but because if you think about it, that's also a dirt house now. So anyway, I honestly don't know what more to tell. I think I've been rambling about now, and I think I'm just gonna end it there. And I hope you will enjoy the video and the slideshows, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.